Hello, my name is Phil Mershaw, and today it is my pleasure to introduce to you someone who works with the fabulous folks at Creative Melodies. Her name is Ryssa Ezykowsky, and she's going to talk to us today about what she's been doing with Creative Melodies as a uh, music therapist. I should tell you that Ryssa is a music therapist. She graduated from Duquesne University with a Bachelor of Science in Music Therapy. She recently completed her 6 month internship with the great folks at Creative Melodies and is very happy to be a part of the Creative Melodies team. This is previous work experience within a child care center inspired her to use music to help foster personal growth within the learning centers that team with Creative Melodies. And I should tell you that she feels that music can bring out the best in people, which I have no doubt that that's true, and that can generalize into their everyday lives. She has recently, and I think a small round of applause is due here, recently completed being board certified here right now in the first quarter of 2023 as we record this. She cannot wait to grow as a music therapist. Welcome, welcome to the show, Rissa.
Thank you.
So, how's that feel? Board certified and ready to roll.
Feels really good. It makes me feel official and it makes me really excited that I get to do this work now.
Well, I have no doubt that it does. You and I have talked before about what you're doing, but I want you to let the people watching have a sense as to maybe what's a typical day look like for you.
So I typically start out my day at a daycare in the Pittsburgh area. I'll be there for a couple of groups with the kids there. And then I will go typically most days to the Verlin Foundation, where I work with adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities, doing individual sessions and groups.
Well, that's very interesting. I think a lot of times we think of music therapy as being exclusively for children, but that's not actually the case, is it?
No, we can use music therapy with so many different populations, ranging through the entire lifespan.
So, what would are there differences in your approach then with grown-ups versus or adults versus children?
Definitely. I feel that I have a different presence depending on where I'm at, and the music that I use is very different, and the way that I interact with my clients, even though my clients at Verland, they have intellectual and developmental disabilities, we like to treat them age appropriately. We don't want to see them as children as society often does. So I
Hmm.
often try to include music that they would enjoy, as well as some classic favorites.
I saw on your biography, and I'm smiling because it pleased me to see this, that that, and you correct me if I'm remembering this wrong. It has been known to happen, but that you are a fan of 70s and 80s music. Is that
Yes, that's very true.
okay? Well, that's very important because, as I'm sure you know, they stopped making great music around 1985, so that's perfect. Um, and you like folk music too, from what I understand.
Yes, I do. I would have to say that Joni Mitchell is a huge inspiration for me. Her music is just so great to listen to. So that's my
Well,
favorite folk artist.
is that right? Well, I will tell you then, as someone who thinks about um, modern music far more than most of my friends will tolerate, that Joni Mitchell's two best albums are Blue and Court and Spark.
Mhm.
Debate?
I agree. Blue is my favorite album.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty amazing. Um, this is sort of off the subject, but I'm just curious. How did you become? Because I think you were probably not around yet in the 70s and 80s. So how did you come to discover this kind of music?
Just kind of what I was raised on. I just remember being a young kid and going on road trips with my grandparents, and we would have oldies CDs and disco CDs, and that kind of music just really spoke to me and I really enjoyed it. And then as I got older and got to kind of dive deep into the music that I liked, I was able to find more artists that I liked from that era.
So um, does your passion for music and maybe certain types of music in particular, does that carry over into the services that you perform?
Definitely it does. I feel that when I find clients that have similar tastes in music to me, there's really a connection there when we're both able to just sit in that music and feel it together and we sort of feel the same things. But also, I do have to branch out a lot and listen to other music and perform other music. And I just try to find something that I enjoy about each type of music that I sing.
And did you just say sing?
Yes, and play on guitar.
Because right, because your emphasis is on voice, is it not?
Yes, that was my concentration in college.
Okay. I remember when you told me that originally, and it took me a second to sort of grok that, I guess, because um, people forget that, the voice is the original instrument.
Yes.
Before we had guitars and zithers and recorders and other obscure instruments, we had this. So you also play guitar.
Mhm.
You play a couple of instruments, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. I
Um,
also play piano and ukulele and auto harp.
okay, well that's a pretty big deal. You're being quite modest, but you you obviously have found there are a lot of things that you could have done with the talents that you bring to this. Can you talk a little bit about how you came to discover Creative Melodies? I think I know, but I'd like you to remind us, and how you came to settle there.
So I, in my education, had to choose interview for a 6 month long internship. And I searched and I found through my school that there was an opening for an internship with Creative Melodies. And I saw that I would be working with children in daycares and with the adults with the developmental and intellectual disabilities. And those are two populations that I care very deeply about and felt very passionate about working with. So I had an interview with Haley, and then she had offered me the internship, and I was very excited to stick with them here today.
Wow. So they made you an offer after the
Yes.
internship was over. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
good call. Good call, Haley. I we talked to Haley several weeks ago, and yeah, she's right on the ball. So if I'm a potential client for for your services, or if I'm perhaps the parent or guardian of someone who might be a potential a client of yours, what how would I know that? How would I what would I be observing either in my own behavior or in the behavior of someone for whom I am providing care that would lead me to say music therapy is what we need here?
I would say if a person has a strong relationship to music or a strong attachment or response within music, then that's a big inkling that music therapy could definitely be helpful. And then from there is where we would assess our client to see where they're at, what their goals would be, and how we could best address those with music, as well as what music they enjoy and what music will typically help assist us in our therapy.
I've watched little snippets of video on your business Facebook page as well as on the website itself that show what I think of as very small people. I think they're called children who are um, who are just wailing away on their various stringed instruments and percussion instruments. And as a somewhat egomaniacal musician myself, I'm always delighted to see other people having a lot of fun doing this because I think that fun is becoming a lost art, and that music is one of the ways that we have left where technical expertise is not necessarily a prerequisite to get into it. And that, and I don't want to get philosophical about this, but I'm going to anyway. I think that technical expertise is grotesquely overrated in the world. I think that it's fantastic that people know how to, you know, play their instruments and that become masterful at them. But I think that you run the risk of losing this sort of sense of wonder that comes from if you. I'm sure you've seen this. You see a child hold a guitar. Maybe it's a little tiny guitar. Maybe it's a full size. Doesn't matter. Or a grown up too, and they're kind of figuring things out. This string makes this sound. It's different if I pull on this fret, and wow, and that sense of discovery is just, and you see these children getting completely immersed in what they're doing. Um, yeah, I mean, do you have a reaction to what I'm saying there? So I'm starting
I
to rant.
com Yeah, I completely agree with you. I feel that we as a society have reached this point where there's such a focus on the technical aspect of music where we have all of these talent shows now. We have American Idol, we have The Voice, all of that stuff where they're so critical on people and their talents and their voices to where in my experience in college, in practicum, I would be working with some adults and you come in with instruments and they're like, oh, I don't do music. I can't do that. Or, oh, I can't sing. And I'm like, anybody can sing. And
Yes,
I think that it's so important to find that sense of fun in it and not feel the judgment of, oh, I have to be perfect. And I feel like we especially do see that with kids where they just let go and they play with no inhibition and sing at the top of their lungs. And that's just where the magic really happens.
I love what you're saying there. It makes me very happy to hear you say these things because I think it's true. And you know, I wouldn't want a parent, guardian, or an adult looking after him or herself to say, well, you know, I can't do this because they would expect me to know how to do an extended G or whatever. And you know, you don't need to have any prior musical experience whatsoever to benefit from your services.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it also, even as a music therapist, sometimes I have to remind myself, I don't have to be perfect and I can still make mistakes. And honestly, that's sometimes where the best therapy happens, is where me and my clients can just laugh it out and just keep on going.
Does that happen sometimes?
Oh, definitely. I am human. I make some pretty interesting mistakes. I'll play a wrong chord or sing a wrong word, and I just kind of move right on. Sometimes I give a little giggle and we all just keep going.
Don't you think that there is some kind of a magic to that though? That where you hit the wrong note or you maybe forgot what the lyric was for a tenth of a second, and you just kind of, and everybody's eyes are on you and they're thinking about it and they're just in the moment, and all the silliness just doesn't matter. It's about the experience itself.
Exactly. Yes.
Well, this sounds like a really great thing. Is this? Do you see yourself pursuing this on into the later years of your already young life?
Definitely. I feel that I've definitely found my passion. And, they always say find a job where it doesn't feel like you're going to work every day. And I've found that very early on, and I hope to continue it for the rest of my life, hopefully.
It doesn't. Okay, you said something. I'm going to have to go back and hear you say it again. It doesn't feel like you're going to work every day. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I've had a few moments like that over the years. Remind me, what is that like? So when you're commuting from your home to the wherever you happen to be that day, what are you thinking about? What's going through your mind?
Usually some excitement and some curiosity because every day is different. You don't know what you're going to face, especially working with children and adults with disabilities. You never know what people's moods are going to be, what kind of music they'll want. And so I'm often kind of excited to see what happens. I kind of mentally prepare myself for any possible scenario.
Yeah, there's yeah, I can see that. That really is the difference between um, working and living. Is we only have a limited number of opportunities, and we make these decisions. And gosh, it's good to be happy when you are going about your duties of the day. You like children?
Oh, I love kids. Yeah. I feel that I myself still have some childlike qualities that I use when I'm with children to
Yeah.
where we're kind of on the same level when we're in music and we're able to form a deeper relationship and just have fun together.
So for someone listening to what you and I are talking about, and I can almost hear their wheels turning, that this is something that they would like to take a look at and possibly explore. You have a website, if I'm not mistaken, and
Yes.
a pretty darn good looking website. It, what's the name of the website?
Creativemelodies.org.
Creativemelodies.org. We need to make a point in our post production phase of having a little crawler at the bottom of the screen. I'm almost sure that we can do that. And I'll bet you that in real time, it's actually happening right now. Is that the best way for people to get in touch? Is there an email or?
Yeah, we have all of our contact information on our website and you can reach out through there and learn more.
Well, I think that's a great idea, don't you? I think people should absolutely go to that website right now, after, of course, after you subscribe to our YouTube channel, if that's where you're watching us, or share us if you're watching us on Facebook or another form of social media, because you know what? As much as you're enjoying this video right now, you know people who are also going to enjoy it. So take a moment to do that. And as soon as you've done that, then I want you to go to creativemelodies.org. That's Creative melodies, IES.org. And that's where you're going to find fantastic biographies of all of the people who are working there, especially our young friend Ryssa, who is doing a really terrific job. And I know that for a fact. Um,
Thank you.
Listen, thank you very much for taking time to talk with us today. I think that your energy and enthusiasm are very contagious in all the best of ways. Yeah, would you be able to come back and talk to us again another time?
Of course, I had so much fun today and it was great getting to talk to you.
Well, the pleasure is all ours, and we will look forward to seeing you again very soon.